There's a revolution happening in psychology. And in the next few minutes, I'll be telling you how this revolution can help you deal with stress and fear, and how you even can change the world by using it. My name is Denk. I work as a psychotherapist specializing in trauma therapy, and my passion in life is to find and combine the most modern and effective psychological techniques to help humans thrive. When we look at the world right now, the challenges are huge. Climate change, inequality, the pandemic. We live in a time of multiple crises. And to solve these challenges, we need cooperation across all borders and humans who are emotionally resilient. And with resilience, I mean we need to feel safe, relaxed, and capable even when things get stormy. So let me ask you, how safe do you feel right now while listening to me? Maybe pretty safe, right? But how safe do you feel in conflict with your friend, your partner, or your boss? I ask this because there's another pandemic out there, and it's an emotional one. The emotional pandemic of not feeling enough, of feeling insecure. And this emotional pandemic creates the opposite of the cooperation we so desperately need. Why? Because when we don't feel enough, we constantly live in fear mode. We avoid difficult conversations because of fear. We don't ask for what we need because of fear. And we have much less capacity to deal with stress because of fear. So how would you feel if I told you that there's a tool we could all use that shuts down the fear response in our brain? A tool that we could use to feel safe and relaxed even in stressful times. So let me tell you a story out of my life where I didn't feel safe or relaxed. 12 years ago, I'm sitting in a team meeting, and I've just started my therapist training. And in these team meetings, I usually stay silent because I'm afraid to voice my opinion. Every morning, I wake up feeling so stressed because I think this could be the day where I say something wrong, or worse, the day I do something wrong. And every time the boss wants to talk to me, I think, oh, it's coming. He will tell me that I messed up big time today. So my story isn't special at all. We all have a story like this to share, right? But the question is, why is that? Why do we feel insecure? So here are the facts. 70% of women as well as men know how it feels to feel like an imposter. Even 70% of Harvard students are experiencing it. It's closely linked to not feeling enough, and it's no wonder when we look at society's norms. According to a study of Boston College, women still need to be the following to conform to female norms: nice, thin, modest, and they have to use all available resources for appearance. So that's just crazy. But are men luckier? Not at all. Here's how men need to be in order to conform to the real, fearless male norms. They have to be emotionally controlled, they have to put work first, they have to pursue status, and be ready for violence. So that's just ridiculous. And no wonder we feel insecure if we still let society define ourselves like that. And to avoid these insecurities, we use an unfortunately efficient but harmful strategy to upgrade our confidence. We upgrade ourselves through downgrading others. So just imagine you're sitting on a seesaw, and the higher you feel you are, the better you feel. Now imagine you had a really bad day at work, and you think things like, everyone's better than me, and no one likes me. Then you feel even worse, right? But then you start thinking things like, my colleagues are so stupid, and my boss is even more stupid, he has no clue at all. You feel a little better, right? Can you see how easy it is to feel better through downgrading others? And there's no shame in it. We all do that from time to time. It's so normal. But without reflection, this up and downgrade game, this seesaw, can lead to extremes. And I think that's a huge problem for our society, because it creates my truth is truer than yours. My religion is better than yours. My political views are better than yours. Me against them. So I think it would be a tremendous benefit, not only for our personal life, but for our society, if we would need that up and downgrade game as much. And the good news is, we don't need that game to feel good. There's a much better way, because we can fight fear. So let me tell you about the amazing tool that's capable to shut down the fear response in our brain. And for that, I need to show you a picture of a tiny thing that's only the size of an almond. You see it as the red dot here. It's called the amygdala, and it's our emotional brain. And the amygdala might be tiny, but its reactions are huge because it controls the runaway, fight, and freeze response in our brain. It's like a mighty alarm system that keeps us safe, and it shuts down the thinking part of our brain. So just imagine a tiger would walk into your room right now. You wouldn't think, an exotic animal. Could this be dangerous for me? No. The amygdala would take over and say, spear in my hand, let's fight. No spear in my hand, let's run away or freeze. So that's very handy in the jungle, right? But in our modern world, it can create problems because this freeze, run away, fight activation is also activated in moments when we don't feel enough. So it gets us into fight mode when someone is criticizing us. It makes us run away from opportunities because we still think we're not good enough. And it makes us freeze in social situations because we are afraid someone's laughing at us. So it's not cool when our brain goes to tiger mode in such moments, right? But here's the solution. There's a built-in mechanism in our brain that moves the eyes from left to right when we are sleeping and dreaming. It's called Rem, Rapid Eye Movement. Did you ever go to bed very fearful or sad or angry, and the next morning you woke up and felt much better? So that's Rem in action. We like to say, sleep on it. We don't say, go to bed and dream and let rapid eye movement relax your amygdala. But that's what it is neurologically. And research has proven that these eye movements have the power to shut down fear cells in the amygdala. So let me repeat that because it's so amazing. These eye movements have the power to shut down fear. And I think that's mind-blowing because it gives us so much hope for humanity. And it even gets better. There's a scientifically very well proven psychological method that is built around those eye movements. It's called Emdr, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. Emdr was originally developed for trauma treatment and is proven through a lot of meta-analysis and randomized controlled trials to be one of the best and most efficient methods in treating post-traumatic stress disorder. It works so well that something nearly impossible happened. Even health insurance, who usually is trying to pay as little as possible, incorporated EMDR in their list of treatments. Why? Because they figured out that they could save a lot of money with it. There are EMDR crisis response teams all over the world who work in direct response to natural disasters and violent conflicts. The army is using EMDR to treat post-traumatic stress disorder in their soldiers. And it recently became a thing in Hollywood because it works for another whole bunch of issues too, including creativity and peak performance. So, if it works for soldiers harmed by war, don't you think it could be helpful for you to relax after a fight with your boss or partner too? So let me show you how it looks like. Just pretend you are my client and you would focus on something fearful or stressful for you. And now you would watch my fingers and you would start following my fingers with your eyes. And after a time, your nervous system would calm down. So, let me give you a client example. Lisa comes to see me after 2 car accidents. And every time she tries to drive again, panic overwhelms her. And because she's the main income for her mother and her disabled sister, she's really, really fearful because she needs her car for work. So we start using EMDR to treat Lisa. And how many sessions do you think Lisa needed to start driving again? 3 sessions. And her story doesn't end here. After becoming so confident in her driving again, Lisa fulfills a long-time dream. She flies to Iceland, drives across the country in a tiny rental car by freezing temperatures, sleeps in this car, and even the snowstorms cannot stop her from exploring the country of her dream. So, it's important to remember that treating disorders belongs into the hand of an experienced therapist. And it's also important to remember that response time varies from client to client. But in my experience, EMDR is pretty fast and pretty efficient. And it can help us for the not enough pandemic as well. So here's Erin's story. Erin comes to see me in the midst of an emotional storm. She's in an on-off relationship with a man who is emotionally unavailable, and she thinks it's her fault because she's not good enough. We start using EMDR, and because Erin's fear and desperation gets regulated, she can see clearly again, and she can see that she tries to compensate her feelings of unworthiness through acknowledgement of others. And she finds the courage to speak up and ask for what she needs. And today, she's married to the man of her dreams, and she lives in an intimate, authentic, and honest relationship because she finally respects herself. So stories like this make me so happy, and that's definitely where the passion for my work comes from. Let's imagine that everyone could use EMDR or methods like EMDR to shut down their emotional responses, like their fear and their daily stresses. Imagine how many additional resources could we create if we could stop fighting against each other and start fighting together against the challenges of our time. Less fear means less seesaw, and less seesaw means more cooperation. So there's a revolution happening in psychology. And modern methods like EMDR treat with emotions like fear in a very solution-oriented and efficient way. And if we wouldn't constantly triggered by fear, we could cooperate on a much higher level as a society. And this positive cooperation has the potential to change the world. So let's fight our fear and be loud for humanity together. Thank you.